Hi guys, German Prepper here. The raging conflict on the ground in Europe's east continues unabated as arms supplies and additional military forces flood into the region. There is a palpable sense of rising tension globally that shows no signs of improving. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General, has made this extraordinary and extremely concerning statement that we had all best take to heart now. I fear that the war in Ukraine will get out of control and spread into a major war between NATO and Russia. If things go wrong, they can go horribly wrong. President Volodymyr Zelensky has commented on the situation at the Eastern Front as Ukrainian forces are pushed hard along their defensive lines with reported casualties nearing 1,000 per day. The situation is very difficult in Bakhmut, Mariinka, Crimea, Soledar and Donbass. There is no place that has not received shells from artillery. The Russians have literally destroyed Bakhmut, another Donbass city that the Russian army turned into burnt ruins. In fact, guys, Russian Federation forces have now broken through the defense of the depleted Ukrainian 93rd and 71st Brigades to enter the town. Street fighting has broken out in the urban centre of Bakhmut for the first time since the start of the war, with Ukrainian forces fighting a desperate retreat from their former impregnable defensive lines. Barbara Woodward, the United Kingdom's permanent representative to the United Nations, has made the following statements to reporters on the Russian Federation's efforts to secure armaments and munitions. Since August, Iran has transferred hundreds of drones to Russia, which has used them to kill civilians and illegally target civilian infrastructure. Russia is now attempting to obtain more weapons, including hundreds of ballistic missiles. In return, Russia is offering Iran an unprecedented level of military and technical support. We're concerned that Russia intends to provide Iran with more advanced military components, which will allow Iran to strengthen their weapons capability. We are almost certain that Russia is seeking to source weaponry from North Korea and other heavily sanctioned states, as their own stocks palpably dwindle. Vasily Nebenzia, the Russian Federation's permanent representative to the United Nations, had this reply for the Security Council. The military-industrial complex in Russia can work perfectly fine and doesn't need anyone's assistance, whereas the Ukrainian military industry does not basically exist and is being assisted by the Western industry. He makes a fair point there, guys. The United States Department of Defense has announced the authorization of a presidential drawdown of security assistance valued at up to $275 million to meet Ukraine's critical security and defense needs. This authorization is the Biden administration's 27th drawdown of equipment from DoD inventories for Ukraine since August 2021. Capabilities in this package include additional ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, 80,000 155mm artillery rounds, counter-unmanned aerial systems equipment, counter-air defense capability, high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, HMMWVs, ambulances and medical equipment, approximately 150 generators, field equipment. Moroccan authorities have reportedly been convinced by US diplomats to transfer spare parts for T-72 tanks to Ukraine in the greatest of secrecy, according to Ukrainian government reports that are in fact not at all secret. Morocco is now the first African country to provide military assistance to Kiev. Kaja Kallas, Estonian Prime Minister, has weighed in on the calls to send more arms to Ukraine. I call on all allies, including Germany, to send Ukraine everything they need so they can defend themselves. If all allies had sent weapons back in January or February, many lives would have been saved. It is not only about the sovereignty and freedom of some country in Europe, but also about the security of the whole of Europe. Yet again, guys, we are being told German weapons supplied to a war zone will save lives. I have my doubts, but I will let you ponder that. Josep Borrell, Chief of EU Diplomacy, has made a very candid admission regarding such weapon flows in this latest statement. I stress the importance of our support to Ukraine, politically, economically and militarily, meaning with weapons and training, so they can push out the invader as they are. And we should be able to do this as long as necessary until Ukraine prevails. This war has also been a wake-up call for all of us about our military capabilities. We have given weapons to Ukraine, but in doing so we realise that our military stockpiles have been depleted. With conventional war returning to the heart of Europe, we also realise that we are lacking critical defence capabilities to be able to protect ourselves from a higher level of threats on the European continent itself. There we are then, guys. Let that be the warning to finish on for today. A question for you all now to end. Have you managed to put back a minimum of 3 months water and 3 months food? And if not, what is stopping you? As always, looking forward to reading your answers. If you can, please support the channel by taking membership. It really makes a difference. Keep prepping, guys. Cheers for now.